I'm looking at the local news in California, and I'm seeing that, yes, there are earthquakes. People are having earthquakes out there. It's not like it's just something that's made up, or why would they make that up anyway? But, this is real, So anyway, this isn't like I was just cranking out information, even though I may have not had firsthand access to it. I wasn't just putting shit out there to put shit out there, I was trying to tell people, hey, look at this channel, look at that channel, look at this news, look at that, and put two and two together. And everybody just still ignored the ever-loving shit out of me. And like I said, it took me a little bit of time to realize that these YouTubers, such as Midas Touch, such as David Pakman, such as the I've Had It podcast, such as everybody, basically, except Kyle Kulinski, which is Secular Talk, was part of this plot. I couldn't believe it. And I don't follow MAGA influencers, but we know already for sure Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson. All right, we'll just say those three, since I named three left-wing ones. Most definitely part of the plot, right? So it's like they all had a hand in misguiding the public, and distracting them from the very critical, life-threatening issues at hand. And every single one of them, I didn't reach out to the MAGA ones because that's completely useless. But the ones that are sitting here pretending to care, pretending to not agree with fascism and Nazis and all this stuff, which I don't think they ever really call them Nazis, I don't know. But maybe Midas Touch has a few times. But pretending to act like they're the better, Americans because, they're standing up for the rights of others. And I started to notice that although they were mentioning Epstein and the Epstein ring in a lot of the videos when it was like a hot button topic, nobody was really talking about the current victims and the kids. And that's what kind of got me. Not kind of, it really got me. And I'm like, hey, I'm leaving comments on these people's videos. I DM'd them. Like, I emailed them, reached out to them, tagged them, all. And said, listen, I'm a current victim. So is my daughter. She's 11. There's a lot of victims, We're still sitting here. And kids are dying every day, People are dying every day from this. But there's a lot of children, involved. Every single one ignored me. And even though I was like, listen, I'm a former federal employee, like I'm extremely credible. I have all of this information that's really key and important to survival. This is how serious this shit really is. And nope, just completely ignored me. And then I realized, holy shit, they got them too. But it's like, how does that work? Right? How does that work? Did they put out like an APB to the cult that says, hey, if this person reaches out to you, you have to ignore them, or don't pay any attention to what this person says, they're crazy, or what? All of them? You know what I mean? So I'm like, you really don't want to talk to a whistleblower. And it didn't even matter how much I called them out. I started getting angry at like Pakman, Midas Touch. I unsubscribed. I stopped following the channels and I've Had It, because I was like, you fucking liars. You are propagandists. You're not here for America. You're not here for the people. You're not here for the better interest of everybody. You're a paid shill. You're here for the clown show. Right, which is the only reason you're allowed to have that big YouTube channel with millions of subscribers. And that's when I had to come to that realization. I'm like, okay, so if you have a YouTube channel, this is what they did to me. They sent in the Illuminati with my business. Once it got a certain point, I declined the invitation into the Illuminati. I'm done. right? They shut down the fucking business and they steal it. So same thing with these YouTube channels. They must, I mean, if they weren't already part of the cult, some of them I'm sure were, but they gotta have permission, basically, to have the channel, you know? So YouTube's totally corrupt, but there are honest content creators, you know, that truly do have the best interests of everyone in mind, that are trying to get the truth and critical information out to the masses. We just have smaller channels. You know, we're not rich and famous off of YouTube, right? But we're here, you know? So yeah, guys, anyway, it's just been a long, insane, I can't believe, like, again, it's these people that act like they're, like, all good and, like, you know, like I said, Ben Meiselas, I realized early on, I'm like, nah, man, this motherfucker's a Mason, and man, there's a lot more to it. I'll have to go into depth on another video, but he was hanging out with Biden, and I was like, if he's hanging out with Joe, Joe is the Satan. Joe is the Satan. So if he's hanging out with Joe, you know, then for sure, right, this motherfucker's into some fucked up shit.